Democrats Institute, most of white evangelical Protestant Republicans think life in the United States was better in the 1950s. They think the United States should be a white Christian country. 60% in January said that it may be necessary to use force to preserve the American way of life. That was after the insurrection. So that is an indication for you of the depth of those feelings, and what that produces, the kind of politics that produces, is a tight embrace of somebody like Donald Trump, whose message is, I'm going to fight them. It's not about a policy per se. It's not about, remember, the Republican Party did not approve a platform at their convention last summer. It's about resistance and fighting, and you see that translated last week to the vote in the House, where even though that COVID relief bill, whether it was too big or not too big, it's 70% popular among the American public. 0 House Republicans voted for that bill. You saw only 3 House Republicans voted for the Equality Act last week, which was a Democratic measure to protect people from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. Only 11 House Republicans voted to discipline Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're responding, even if there are disagreements about Donald Trump and his conduct, the party as a whole is responding to that message is we need to stand up and fight. And what that tells you is it is going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for Joe Biden to generate significant bipartisan support for his initiatives on immigration, on infrastructure. No matter what the content of those initiatives, the imperative is to stand up and fight.
John, your points are so interesting. I mean, I heard the same thing from my QAnon panel. The culture and the country is changing. It's changing too fast for some people's comfort level. It's making them scared and anxious and paranoid, and some veer into violence. And so I appreciate you making all these points. John, I'm sorry we're out of time. I gotta let you go. Everybody should read your fantastic piece. Meanwhile, millions of Johnson & Johnson vaccine doses are on their way. How many can Americans expect to see in the coming weeks? A top J&J official joins us with the answer next.
You're listening to CNN commercial-free exclusively on TuneIn Premium. Here's an update you may have missed.
Battle New York Governor Andrew Cuomo apologizing after a second former aide accuses him of sexual harassment. The governor's new statement reads in part, "At work, sometimes I think I am being playful and make jokes that I think are funny. I do, on occasion, tease people in what I think is a good-natured way. I now understand that my interactions may have been insensitive or too personal, and that some of my comments, given my position, made others feel in ways I never intended. I acknowledge some of the things I had said have been misinterpreted as an unwanted flirtation." Joining us now is Jesse McKinley, the Albany bureau chief for the New York Times. Jesse broke this story about Cuomo's second accuser. He spoke to her and reviewed all of her text messages and emails. Jesse, thank you very much for being here. So here's part of what you write, just so that people understand what Charlotte Bennett, who's 25 years old, she was a former aide. Here are some of the things that she told you. Bennett, who had just turned 25 at the time, said Mr. Cuomo had also asked her about her feelings about age differences in relationships, saying age doesn't matter, according to a text she sent to her friend. He asked me if I believed if age made a difference in relationships, and he also asked me in the same conversation if I had ever been with an older man. And of course there's more, Jesse. So just tell us about why she felt comfortable coming forward and why now.
Well, this came in the wake of another sexual harassment allegation last week by Lindsey Boland, who's another former Cuomo administration official, who said that the governor had kissed her in 2018. Subsequent to that, I reached out to Charlotte, who had retweeted that initial story. And then Charlotte and I had lengthy conversations on Thursday and Friday about her experiences. She shared, as you pointed out, text messages contemporaneous to her experiences, which lent credence to what she was talking about. And as you pointed out, these are very serious allegations that she levied, things like asking if she'd slept with older men, her positions on monogamy, and the governor indicating a willingness to sleep with women in their 20s. Charlotte herself is 25. All of that in toto basically sent a message to Charlotte that the governor was essentially propositioning her for a sexual advance.
Listen, I will read another quote from her in the article, in her own words, because Charlotte Bennett had the courage to come forward, and let's give her the strength of those words. She says, I understood the governor wanted to sleep with me and felt horribly uncomfortable and scared and was wondering how I was going to get out of it and assumed it was the end of my job. Now, Governor Cuomo has apologized, which is rare for him. But it's an apology with a lot of ifs, ands, or I apologize if she felt this way, or if I left people with the impression of X, Y, and Z. My understanding, Jesse, he's not disputing any of the statements she has made, any of the facts that you lay out in this really deeply well-reported piece. So there's an agreed set of facts here, correct?
Yes, he has not denied any of the specific statements and details that she offered up. And the statement he made last night was, as you point out, John, kind of a broader, kind of very couched statement saying, you know, if I offended anyone, I'm truly sorry. If these comments were considered inappropriate, you know, perhaps it was a playful flirtation that basically was misinterpreted. But keep in mind, Charlotte, after this event on June 5th and